live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Thing sucks.
Well, here I am alone. I'm alone, but I'm not for long, because I'm going to bring in a special guest co-host. Yes, you know him or her, but you don't know that, and I'll explain that in a bit. But first, a tribute to where I am. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. I can't remember the rest of the words because I haven't lived there for 30 years. But yes, coming to you from Canada and the great city of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Say that enough times, and if you say it correctly, it actually counts as a sobriety test in 48 of 50 states. Yes, that's true. Look it up. Google it. I dare you. All right. So without any further ado, because you guys need some eye candy when my lovely wife is not here, we have brought in my friend, Michelle. Yes.
That is my name.
Yes.
That is my name.
Because you just won, believe it or not, the Canadian Women's Powerlifting Championships, right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
I need fat in here.
I know. Because you're having a hot flash. You need some hormone replacement therapy. But anyways, we're going to do some fun stuff today, as usual. I'm going to do a little bit of Canadian medical history, believe it or not. And Michelle, or Mitch as he's known when he's not wearing the wig that he's trying to drink, is our social media person that puts out all those great social media posts. Look him up. He'll do a great job for you as well. It's not Mitch L. It's Mitch L.
Mitch L.
Mitch L.
Yeah.
That's different. So I got to get this camera just a little bit. There we go. That's better. That's better. Okay, good. All right. So first off, I figured that I would do a little bit of talking about what has happened in Canadian history medically, as far as Canadian medical history. And there's one name, and I'm going to bring him in here, that always seems to come up. And he is kind of the, what would you call it? The OG of Canadian medicine. This guy's name is Frederick Banting. Banting was the guy that discovered insulin. And actually, more correctly, he didn't discover that insulin existed. That was done by some scientists before him. He was the guy that figured out how to get insulin out of beef and pork pancreases and then inject it into people. And that was done in 1920. And this is actually important because 1923 is when he won the Nobel Prize for Medicine. He was the youngest person in the... Did you know that, Michelle?
I did not know that. No.
He was... Yeah, well, you wouldn't, because you're a dumb blonde. Anyways, he was the youngest person in the history of medicine to win the Nobel Prize for Medicine. He was 32 years old. What have you done with your life lately? 32 years old. Like, you know, you're playing Doom. This guy, like, is discovering freaking insulin. So he figured out how to get insulin out of beef and pork pancreases and inject it into people without destroying the insulin by crushing up the pancreas and releasing all the digestive enzymes, ergo destroying the peptide. He was a true badass. So 1923 Nobel Prize for Medicine. He also, believe it or not, later in his career, worked on developing the G suit, not the G spot suit. That's different.
That's my job.
That is absolutely 100% your job. Oh, yeah. Yes, you're right, sweetie.
Thank you.
So the G suit for pulling G's when you're flying in an airplane, and this was in the 30s. He was pulling this stuff out like during the beginning of, like, even before the beginning of World War II. And then sadly, he was killed at 49 years of age in a plane crash, believe it or not. He was also a renowned painter. He was the #1 amateur painter in Canada. He was friends with a bunch of guys in the Group of Seven, which is a famous group of Canadian painters. And he never wanted to be professional because he never wanted anyone to buy anything he painted, because if they saw his name, they would buy his stuff just because he was a famous scientist, and he wanted his paintings to stand on their own merit. If it was me, I don't care why you buy my shit, just buy it.
Yeah.
So he's probably
That's
a better
it.
man than both of us.
Oh, probably.
But you're not a man.
No.
So it doesn't count.
No, I'm May's replacement today.
That's right. You are.
2.0.
Because eye candy is critically important in this endeavor.
Yes. And I am the eye candy for this blonde hair.
Absolutely.
And under this blonde hair, I'm also blonde. So
That's true. Well, mostly blonde.
Yeah.
That's right. Whether the carpet matches the drapes, we'll leave that for your imagination and your imagination only. All right. So then we go on to the next guy, which is really interesting. So we're in the province of Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan is right in the middle of Canada. It's straight north of Montana. May's retiring now, she says. Yeah.
Yes, May, I was looking for a spot in the podcast anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you found your way into the space.
Yeah.
So interestingly, okay, so Saskatchewan is directly north of Montana and mostly North Dakota. And believe it or not, this is a great little tidbit. Believe it or not, this guy who was premier, if you're a dick, of Saskatchewan, Tommy Douglas, was the first person to bring socialized healthcare to North America. And that was in about 1960, 1961. So he is the father of socialized medicine in North America. Interestingly, he has a grandson that everyone knows by the name of Kiefer Sutherland. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
He was from Weyburn, Saskatchewan,
Oh.
and his grandson is Kiefer Sutherland. That's true. So thank you, Tommy, or as I like to call him, Tommy the Commie. No, he was just a socialist. There's a difference. I understand that.
There's a difference.
Yes. Okay.
Not
so,
that I would know because I'm blonde. I don't know.
Yeah, you'd have a freaking clue. All right. So what are we drinking there, homeboy?
Well, I am drinking. It is.
Home girl.
Homegirl.
Sorry. Jeez.
I can take the wig off and I could be whatever you want me to be.
Yeah, that's exactly. Ooh. Yeah, but you got to pay extra for that.
Yes. Only fans.
Oh, yuck.
We got a provincial vodka. This is the spiced provincial vodka. I love it with orange juice. I'm drinking it with a Coke. And matter of fact, me under this wig.
Look at that.
Look at the blonde hair.
Still blonde.
Me under this wig. This is also my sponsor, Provincial Vodka. So sponsoring us today.
And it is really good. It is out of Blaine Lake, Saskatchewan, which is, if you've ever been there, don't blink.
You'll miss it.
Because you will miss it. Like, it literally is this little tiny dinky town. And you're there, and it's like, but apparently there's a distillery, and it is well worth it.
Oh,
I'm
great.
drinking
It's great.
the Plain Jane Provincial Vodka, which is awesome. I love it. 7 times distilled. The distillery is called the Red Oga. I don't know. I can't read it. It's Ukrainian, I think. And then I just did this because I like to make my cocktails taste like medicine because I'm a doctor. So that's really important.
Careful. If she's around, she might like the word cocktail.
Oh, ouch. Oh, boy. Come on.
But she has left the room.
Clean it
She's
up.
right here. She can.
Mitch L. has
She
left
can
the room.
come back anytime.
Yeah. Clean. It's exactly right.
You never know.
You never know. So, yes, it's really good stuff. The spiced stuff is very interesting. I had a little tiny bit of it straight, and it's basically they spice it with spiced rum.
Yeah.
So a little bit of spiced rum, and then the regular vodka, and it's quite awesome. Now,
A real oaky flavor too, which I really like.
oaky like in Oklahoma, or oaky as in it has like the wood.
The wood, yeah.
Yes.
Or Oklahoma.
Well, Michelle likes the wood. So
She has something to say.
okay, we gotta switch back.
Multiple personality disorder.
That's right.
Except it doesn't look as pretty right now.
Oh no, ravishing actually.
Is your name Woody?
Yeah.
Because I like a good cowboy.
Oh,
That was really bad.
yeah. You're gonna get some splinters on that one.
Yeah, I might take this off.
All right.
She's done. You're done.
Yeah, the wood. Yes, I think she needs to rest in peace.
She needs to. Yeah.
Okay, so the thing about Mitch is he doesn't just do social media. He is absolutely 100% committed to science, and not just science, the science. So let's dig this stuff out.
Yes.
Because okay, he's been doing tons of a big social media promotion for. Can I pull one out?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
For Crush It. And Crush It is vodka and tea with some sugar. So it's technically iced tea, but it's not malted like some other tea brands
Yes.
It's actual vodka with actual tea.
By Provincial Vodka.
So it's interesting because Mitch, being a man of science, highly committed to the scientific method, he said, if you drink a lot, if you drink to excess, and we're not advocating that, but we understand that sometimes people, they make mistakes, okay? They make mistakes. And we are here to help you.
Yes.
If you make a mistake and you drink to excess, is there a way to do that safer? And he said, this is low in sugar.
Yeah.
But you can't find out the exact sugar content, the grams of sugar, because they don't put that on a mixed drink. So he said, I will do my own scientific experiment.
I did.
Describe for us what you did, because it was science.
It was science.
Let's
It's
be
all
honest.
for the science.
I mean, honestly, this science is at least 10 times better than anything Fauci has ever pulled out of his ass. Now, that may not be a very, good thing, but let's just bear with us.
I mean, looking back after, your podcast, it didn't happen before, but
Right.
prior, you said, it's okay to consume. I shouldn't say okay, but if you were to consume an X amount of, whatever alcohol a week, it could be good for you. I think you mentioned that.
Yeah, but not a case of
not
this.
a case, no, man. But so I was like,
But if you were to
if you were
consume
to-
a case, assuming you were,
a friend of mine, they're like, yeah, like there's no way this has less sugar than everything else. But no, it absolutely does. I was like, yeah, well, you drink a few cases and you let me know how you feel. Okay, so I drank a full 12 case. This is 6, but I drank 12 of these in one night to see how I would feel. Woke up the next morning, I was okay, a little bit hungover, not really, didn't really have much of a headache, perfectly fine to go the next day. Now,
okay. So that is arm 1
yes.
of the non-placebo controlled trial.
Yes.
Arm 1 was 12 of these.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, we are not saying you should drink 12 of these, but
if you do,
someone did it for science.
somebody did it for science.
For science.
For science. Not
Nothing else.
Not yet.
For science.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we did it for science. And then what did you do as the control, as they would say, as the control in the experiment?
In the control of the experiment, I drank 12 other beverages of iced tea. Not gonna say which one because they're all the same.
Right, but they rhyme with something twisted. Let's just say.
Misted, wisted, something like
exactly.
that. And
Wisted pea.
Yes, Wisted pea.
Wisted pea.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Pea.
Wisted pea. You can find it in the stores.
Yes.
Drank 12 of those. And
how long did you wait between the 12 of these and the 12 of those?
Well, I did it one day and then I just did it the next day after.
Oh!
Yeah, I was committed. I had to have an answer now.
In the science world, we would call that confounder.
Yes, I don't wait. Okay. I do it.
Your liver's like, you're a dick. Okay, so then the next day, and then what happened?
I didn't feel good. I woke up hungover. I was dizzy. I was, whatever the signs of a hangover that you have, and I just didn't really do much that day. So I might have been late on editing one of your videos because of that, but it's for science.
Okay, so we call this not a double-blind trial, but a drunken blind trial. Yeah. So again, I would not advocate that you do this. If you would have given it a little bit of space, there may have been a tiny bit of, because you might have had some. If you sent this to peer review, what they would say is, you had some potential residual effects from the first 12 alcoholic beverages. So it confounded what happened with the second 12 alcoholic beverages. I'm just saying, again, I don't speak for science. I just speak for the science.
Well, the best thing is there's there could be multiple outcomes in science, which means I could do it again.
You know,
I'll wait a week.
What do you think? I think people should weigh in and see if you should do it again.
I think so.
Again, some people give their life for science, and others give their liver.
Yeah.
So,
and some give both.
Yeah. Yes, they do. They do all the way for the science. All right. So I had to get to this story because it's so great. May's watching, but she's not here. And I knew she'd love this. And so we have recently just returned. We were in Florida a week or so ago. We have found a home. We have, it looks like, the state of Florida is going to give me a license. So I have a job. Everything is working its way out. And, she has this thing about creepy, crawly stuff. So let's go to this one. Arizona woman discovers snake in worst possible place in her home. An Arizona woman came home to a slithering surprise when she found a huge black snake chilling out in her toilet. So the first question I have is, whoopsie, I'm going to get rid of that. I need to.
And it's not Florida, so that's okay, mate.
No, it's not. It's Arizona because there's crazy crap everywhere. Is if you're near the toilet and you're scared like that, does it still count as shitting your pants?
I don't. It's pretty convenient.
I know. It
helps you actually.
What scientific experiment are you going to come up with? If it's the toilet and the snake is trying to bite you or the cockroach, does it count as shitting your pants when you're technically scared shitless, but not, you don't necessarily have pants on? Do you have to have pants on for that idiom to actually function, or is it different?
Well, yeah, I mean, they could do a whole new study on that. Constipated people just throw them into a.
I think what do you give them 12 of these?
What do you?
That problem is completely
solved. It'll be a checklist, a straight up checklist. You get admitted to the hospital or the ER checklist. What are you afraid of? Snakes, whatever it is, spiders, and then they'll throw you into a room like that and constipated free. You're
yeah. Well, I don't know. Yeah, I yes.
You have to think about
I'll drink to that. So, man, I've kind of come to the end of the stuff I had prepared, which you're like, wow, that was the stuff that was prepared. What's the unprepared stuff like? Ooh, it's bad. But it is interesting because this is the city where I was born. And I went for a run this morning and I ran past my old house, my old high school, my old elementary school. It was really cool. It's a great place. I would not recommend visiting in January when it's 4,000 below zero, because it gets to about 4,000.
Yeah.
How many days a year do you get of minus 40?
Too many. Depends. Unpredictable, honestly.
But every year you get at least one.
At least, you get typically February is the worst month. We've had months where it's like every day for a month. February, it's like minus 40 to minus 50. Like, it's ridiculous. It's insane.
No, it's like, I remember running and freezing my eyelashes together. And then I came up with this unbelievably safe idea where if it's minus 20, then I would run. If it was minus 20 was my threshold. Minus 21, it's too cold. I'm staying in the house. And people are like, what the hell? Like, the snow you run on isn't snow. Everything is bulletproof hard.
Ice, literally.
Yeah, and the streets are rutted ice that they throw rock on, and actually it has a pretty significant amount of grip, believe it or not.
It does.
But what we used to do is close to where your father grew up, his house, there was a four-way stop that was just beautiful, and it was in a like more of a residential area, and they wouldn't salt it and gravel it right away.
Sounds like a new story I've never heard.
So we would just go there, and we'd park a couple blocks away and walk. And when it had the first snow, that kind of flash snow melt, and then it would ice over at night. We would just sit there and watch people drive into each other, because they would drive into each other. Because like, they're used to going, oh, it's ice and snow. I'm used to driving in that. Of course you are. You're driving it for almost half the year, but then it's not graveled, and it's absolutely like skating rink levels, and people would just smash into each other. You're like,
I find it so interesting how
pop the corn, watch people crash. Yes, in a small town in northern Canada, you figure out how to have a good time. And it includes provincial vodka.
Well, it's funny how you guys found your entertainment back then. You had to find it. Now it's,
right in front of you. Or make it up. Yeah.
Now it's just like everybody's just on there. I don't even know where my phone is, but it's just right there on your phone. I like to go out and do stuff. I have so many stories of things that I did. I mean, your dad or my dad and you and my dad have been friends since what? Age 14, maybe?
Oh, no.
50?
No, it was way before. It was like 7 or 8.
Oh, was it 7 or 8?
Yeah.
It was like,
I guess 50, that's right.
Youth
over
group days.
50 years. Yeah, we did this one thing. I'll recount this story since it's Old Home Week. So Saskatchewan is very flat. Very flat. And so if you want to do sledding or tobogganing, as we would say,
flatter than her.
Yeah. And that says a lot. So sledding or tobogganing, they had to build hills. So they would build these hills in schoolyards. And so, yes, I did play hockey. I played hockey outside. I sucked as bad when I was 10 as I did when I was 40. But I digress. So they would build these hills in schoolyards so that every schoolyard would have, like monkey bars and swing set, and then a hill, because in the winter you could run up the hill and slide down it. So Mitch's father figured out that this hill in this one park had no barrier from the back alley. They had these back alleys in they still do in certain subdivisions, and you could drive right out of, like, off the street, up the back alley, totally hidden, into the park, which meant over the hill. So one night he picks me up and he goes, "This is the greatest thing ever. You have to try this out. This is so awesome. I've done it about 10 times." And we would start at the back of the park, and we'd be going about 50 or 55 miles an hour, and we'd hit this hill, and you get to the top of it, and you would just get a little bit of air, and then you'd hit the other side, and it was like the perfect ramp. So we did this, honestly, I have no idea how many times. And he had a 64 Valiant, and then we'd take all the doors off the car and do it with no doors on the car. There was no seatbelts in the back, because in 64 you didn't have to have seatbelts in the back seat. Anyway, so this was great. So we were out with a bunch of friends, and we found a bunch of friends, on the main drag where we would hang out. And we said, "You guys got to come with us. This is awesome. You can't believe it." So we piled 6 people in a 64 Valiant, and we went blasting over the hill, and everyone is like laughing their heads off. It's a park. It's a public park, for the love. Like, you'd be in jail for 1,000,000 years if you didn't know. And so we drive around again, and we go over it, and there's like some people walking on the sidewalk across the street from the park. And so we wait, and they leave, and we go blasting over this thing, and we get over to the other side, and coming from another direction is somebody walking their dog, and and then the opposite direction is a car. So because normally we'd stop and then exit the park nice and slowly. Well, we can't, because then we're going to be caught, right? Because there's a car there, there's a guy walking his dog, we're going to be totally caught. So Grant does the only thing that a safety-minded person would do, and he stands on the gas. So now we're going like 80, at the end of this park, and we launch off, and the park had like there was the park, there was a street, and then there was the other side of the street was the rest of the park, which was just flat open grass. So we come off the one curb going like, I don't know how fast, 70 or 80. We hit the next curb and explode the tires, the rear tires, off of the rims. Like the exit the vehicle. So we're driving on, we have six people in the car, and we're driving on rims. So you can't go anywhere on grass and just rims. So we all pile out of the car. He manages to get it to the street. Now the thing's making this just unbelievable amount of noise because it's driving on steel. People, like everyone's just opening the doors and running out and staring at us and like, you know, I'm sure calling the police. So in the most Canadian thing ever, we managed to get the car to the back parking lot of a hockey rink, and we put one rubber tire on it so we can drive it. So a bunch of us run back, we get another car, and then we're going to go meet at his house, and then we go there, and of course the police show up.
Of course. Weren't you spray painting, or you hadn't started it yet?
Yeah, we're trying. Yeah, we're like, how can we camouflage the car? Like we're going to be able to hide this thing. Like, you know, we're like 16-year-old idiots, right? And so, anyways, he got like a ticket for almost nothing. He told the story to the judge. Judge laughs, like $20. See you later. $20 or $40. I mean, it was nothing.
Either way.
And then because we're all business minded, we divided the number of times over the hill by the price of the ticket. And we're like, that was a solid deal. Now, in the greatest turn of irony in the history of irony, the guy that owned the car actually ended up buying one of the houses that backed onto the park we were driving through with no tires on the rim. Absolutely God's honest truth. Lived there for 20 some years before he moved out of the country.
Oh, that's the house I grew up in.
That's the house you grew up in.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we drove past the front of the house you grew up in.
I didn't know it was that
with
part.
Whoever was living in there, like,
that's hilarious.
like looking out the door, like, ah, what's going on? Because of course it was like Sunday night or something when everyone's
Oh, that's great. I didn't know. I didn't realize that
Yes.
it was that park.
It was that part.
That's hilarious. And
Yes.
that must have been the hill that because I guess my grandpa, he was the principal of that school, I think, with the vice principal. And that was that hill.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, that's absolutely true. Like when your dad bought that house, I was like, you're kidding me. Like, you realize where this is. And he's like, oh yeah, I realize where this is.
Probably it's his name engraved on the
Right.
on the back driveway.
His name should be engraved on the bottom of that freaking hill because it's still there. So
that's hilarious. No, they moved it.
They moved the hill.
They moved the hill. Like, I don't know, 100 yards away.
Okay.
They moved the hill.
Yeah. And guess what? You can't drive from the back alley into the park anymore. That problem has been entirely solved.
I wonder why.
I wonder why. Yeah. So
that's good.
Yeah, that was really, again, like, to bring this full circle, like Mitch was saying, we had to make our own fun. There was no internet. Video games sucked. It wasn't like you're just going to sit around. We were super active. We were always riding our bikes and doing other sports and whatever. And we got in a lot of trouble in cars because we loved cars, and it's an affliction that we still have. Part of the reason that we're here now primarily is because it's my sister-in-law's birthday, but secondarily, it's the biggest car show in Western Canada is in Saskatoon this weekend. And this is the stuff that we did for decades. It's how we grew up and still do it. Still, till the day I die, I'm going to be a car guy. So, anyways.
But you didn't imagine being the son of my dad, hearing these stories.
Yeah, exactly.
And I got a Game Boy when I think it was my 7th birthday. So I would ever had entertainment. But growing up, I would the things I would do at school, and I would get in trouble so often. But I was honest about it because like, you can't hide. I went to like a public school. Can't hide. There's like 300 something kids. Actually, they would assume that I was just the one that did it. Like right away. Oh, it was Mitch.
No,
Mitch.
Genetically, you came by it perfectly.
Yeah, totally. Like the things I did. Like,
you had the shit disturber gene, as they say.
Literally. Did I tell you the story about when I pissed in this bottle? And, okay, no, yeah, okay, probably not. So basically, this is one kid at school. It would have been grade 9. Yeah, it would have been grade 9. So this kid at school, because it was K to 12, and he would always steal my vitamin water. And I was getting really pissed off. Like, he keeps taking my vitamin water. It's at a Christian school, by the way. And like, how can I get this guy?
Is in the 10. It's in the Big 10.
It is.
Don't steal.
Don't steal. Exactly. And he didn't listen to that very well. So I was like, well, let me teach him a lesson, you know? So I was like, what can I do? So over and over and over again, and they were bullying me, whatever. So I'm like, I have an idea. Now the vending machine at school sold 2 different kinds of vitamin water. Can't quite remember. One of them was like dragon fruit. The other one, whatever it was. I'm like, okay, well, so I went to the store. I'm like, let's get a lemonade vitamin water. So I drank it. I filled it up with water in the water fountain, and I pissed in it, right?
Ooh.
Oh yeah, but just enough that it made it the right color. And so I had
you were a lemonade dispenser.
Oh yeah, I was sitting there at my desk, just sitting there. Didn't drink it, nothing. And what happened? So not him. He is not there that day. This girl sits behind me, takes it, and takes a huge swig out of it. She goes, "What is this?" I'm like, vitamin water. She's like, "No, seriously, what is this?" And everybody's laughing because they knew a couple of people knew what happened. Oh, I got in trouble. I got in school suspended for a week. First time I had ever completed homework.
Okay, but you weren't okay. If they wouldn't have stole,
that's what I said.
They would have not drank human urine.
That's exactly what I said to the principal.
Well, of course, because you were not just a man of science, you're a man of the law.
Oh yeah, well yeah.
So if they wouldn't have stolen, it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah.
I think that's a very plausible defense.
Totally.
We should send that up to Trump's attorneys.
Yeah. Well, hey,
I think that would help.
Yeah, it would help
him out.
It would help. Yeah, but that's I don't know. There's a lot of other.
So we have a question here. Where do you buy the tea in the blue cans?
Ooh.
This is Canada only, right?
Yes, actually, right now Saskatchewan only. Currently, because actually these just came out May 1st this year, and they are blowing, like literally blowing, every other like tea company, whatever, out of the waters right now. Like stores can't keep up. When I was actually at the distillery there, they said that they were over, I think it was 600 or 700% more than what they had initially planned to sell. Like they're so busy, but you can get them at any store in Saskatchewan really right now, liquor store,
any liquor store, because we live in the People's Republic of Canada.
Yes,
you can't buy anything with alcohol in it unless it's a liquor store. So if you're going to go to the liquor store anyways, are you going to get
about that.
The 5% or the 40%? I'm a caring nurturer. I'm just throwing that out there, which is wild because when you think of it from a accessibility perspective, you can make an argument that if you make less alcoholic beverages more accessible, people will tend to use those more. Where when you have to go to a liquor store to get everything, whether it's like crappy 4% British beer or 70% absinthe, it's all there in the same place.
Yeah.
And you would be more tempted to go to the potentially harder stuff. I don't know. You know what I think? I think that would be a great scientific study.
It would.
Yes.
I know just the guy.
So do I. I think that's what we should do. I think we should put our livers on the line for science.
You and I should both do it while you're here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Walk into the store. I don't want the beer anymore.
No.
Now, if it was at a gas station, I'd probably want the beer.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Just while you're filling up gas, just for a road snack.
Road sodas, as they say. Yeah, no, we're not advocating that either. No. All right. Well, I think we're going to wrap this one up. I don't know that we've had a ton of comments, but nothing else I think we need
Questions.
to add.
Oh yeah. Oh, I saw one up there. May said that she's retiring. Or do we
She
address
liked
that
you.
already?
She thinks that you're so good that she's going to retire, which means
We addressed
that,
that already.
okay, May, you can, but we'd have to move to Saskatoon.
Or
You
I
could move to Florida.
Florida.
You could move to Florida.
My wife and I moved to Florida. Before we go, I do want to know, because you have never tried this before, have you?
Nope.
I want to know your
Okay.
honest opinion.
This is absolutely.
I'll have a look at that.
This is a triple blinded study. It's good. It's if I was going to mix this, I'd have a little bit. I'd make it more. I just have a little bit. I make it a little bit less sweet. It's not bad. It's not overpoweringly sweet. I'm not a fan of much that's very sweet.
Yeah.
But it's way lighter and way more refreshing tasting than the alternative. That's for darn sure.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, I would 100% if I had the ability to do this, and I was going for a tea-based adult beverage. This would be for sure my go-to. And I think they nailed the mix. I think for most people, they nailed that mix, and that's the key, right?
Yeah.
Like it's got to taste good. The key to the tea. The key to the tea is the mix.
All right.
Suffer the fool.
Yeah.
Suffer the fool, Mr. T. Yeah. Crush it, Mr. T. Oh, they should get Mr. T as an advertiser.
Mr. T. Is that an American brand or no?
No, Mr. T, you know, the guy with the mohawk, the black dude that fought Rocky and Rocky 3 and all that. You're too young.
I'm too young, but I know of. But like you were talking about the movie,
Suffer
right?
the fool, Mr. T. Yeah, 18.
Yeah, the movie.
18. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be good.
That would be good.
Or Ice-T, the actor rapper.
You could do that.
Could do that. That's
But
not
Mr. T with this, with the crush it, I don't know. I think we should do a video that way.
We should
That would be awesome.
get into like a boxing ring with some gloves or something.
All right, kids.
Yeah.
Till not next week, because next week we are flying back to the West Coast. But we will be back consistently after that. And then eventually we will be on the road for 2 or 3 weeks, driving all of our crap across the United States. That's going to be an adventure. We hope you join us for that. And Mitch is the Crush It King.
I had to finish it to crush it before the end of the live. So
For science.
for science.
All right.
11 more to go.
Later, kids.
Later.